Hey guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel at my back garden, not the Hunter Collective. So I'm going to work with Cole again today, and as part of this kind of isolation kind of haircut series, I suppose, I want to still work with a bit of longer length, probably mainly on the top, because a lot of guys can kind of handle a bit more length on the top. So in our previous video we did something that was trying to work with what you've already got now, or if you're liking the longer hair on the sides and the back, how you can ask for that cut or how you can style that, and little tips on how to create a little bit of texture, just very minimal though, with just a little bit of razor work. But today I thought we could do a longer classic side part, because a lot of guys will still be wearing the hair a bit longer, and I think as well a lot of guys might like the hair a bit longer as well, but the edges might be annoying them. So like, you know, around the ears, around the neck, that might get, like when we're back into some sort of normality, I think the back and sides might be the thing that annoys them the most, but they might like the hair longer on top. So I thought today we could do a nice classic scissor cut into a side part. Okay, now as you know, I've got my new best friend now, Cole. He's quite nice because he doesn't answer me back, he doesn't tell me what he wants, so I've got a full bit of creativity, so cheers to that, mate. So yeah, I thought we could do a nice sort of classic side part today. I'll be using just scissors. I'm not going to be adding any texture, it's just going to be a complete primary shape cut, okay? There's going to be no secondary shape added in there at all. It's going to be, I'm going to work from the left to the right, so from my left here, and work it over to the right, just because the crown is slightly to the left of the center of the head, okay? So when you're working with the side part, the key things you want to take into account is how natural the parting falls, first of all. So if we are working from, say, left to right with Cole, his fringe works quite nicely over to that side as well. As you can see, it brushes over with quite a lot of ease, and his crown's more to the left as well. So when you are working with a side part, you want to follow the crown down to the recession point, okay, or just off the crown, okay? Now, if his crown was on the right-hand side and I parted it from the left-hand side, trying to force that hair over the crown is what I think when you've asked for this in the past maybe, and it seems to stick up at the crown, that's one of the reasons why, because you're forcing hair over the crown, which it wants to go the other way. So if you are looking for a side part, so you are looking to keep a bit more length, but you like the kind of side part look, then you want to work with you want to go from the direction of where the crown is, okay? So that way it will fall and sit better. And I'm going to put my parting in and start from there, all right? As you can see, the crown of Cole's head is there. Moving that forward. So as you can see, it's just left of the center. There's the kind of center there, and it's just left of the center. Now I'm going to take a section from the crown. I'm going to bring it down to what is Cole's recession point, okay? Now, again, just take your time with this, because again, this is a very, very important part. Haircut. Now, as you can see, it's fallen nicely over to that side. It's not sticking up anywhere. It's just fallen over nicely, okay? Could even get away with bringing this down a little bit. So it's just on the round of the head. So on Cole's hair, it's going to come down on a slight sort of diagonal, okay? It's coming from the crown and around, but I still want to leave a little bit of hair through that recession point there, just to add a nice bit of shape and keep that squareness in this haircut. So just bringing it just off from the recession point. Now, if this was on a real client, it would probably go to the recession point. But obviously, when you work with a mannequin, as good as these mannequins are, I mean, I've used pivot point for years when I was working with American crew, and the hairlines are slightly further back. Okay. So just when if you are working on a pivot point mannequin, just bear that in mind, okay? So if you are doing this on a real person, then you can either keep it where it is, or you can work to the recession point a little bit more. But I'm gonna keep this with a little bit of hair just coming through that recession point as well, okay? That's where my part wants to sit. I want to try and create a nice bit of squareness in that as well, okay? Now, turn that round. That's how that's gonna fall. When you're doing anything like a side part, you're looking to still maintain that nice square shape. So obviously it stays up here, you balance through the sides, and you keep a disconnection from this part of the parting here, this part of the parting here. So almost this part will hang over you. It's quite a nice thing when you're doing a traditional side part, is that when you are cutting it into the parting, you know exactly where it's going to fall because the hair is longer, okay? So when I'm doing it, I never start off on the parting itself, okay? I start from just, say, off the center, depending on how low the parting is. Now, for this particular parting, it's low in some ways, it's high in other parts, but I'm going to start from just about off the centre here and bring it straight up. Now what that's going to do, it's going to build up length through this corner here, through this side of the head. And as we work around, it's going to get shorter to this side as well. But we're going to still maintain a nice masculine shape to this. So I want to keep a bit of length in this, so I'm going to take off about 1/2 inch. Okay? Nice straight and cut. Now I'm working from the front, as this is very visual. And I want to see the haircut as it's developing. So again, we're looking to leave more length at the fringe, get a little bit shorter towards the back, towards the crown, and just taking nice small sections. Not extremely small, not like, you know, if we're doing like a short crop or nothing like that. I'd say they're looking at about maybe 1/4 inch wide sections, and you just bring it straight up and work into the back. Now I'm going to stop just at the crown. Okay, so I'm going to pull that section from the crown forward. Okay, bring it through. I'm just one section in front of the crown now, and I'm following the guide from before. Okay, now I'm just before the crown. I've got my guide from behind is what I'm following to. Okay, so naturally by pulling it straight up from the front, it's going to be longer through the front, and then it's going to get shorter to the crown. Now if I just turn that to the side, you might be able to see what I mean. So if I lift that up, see it's longer at the front, and as we get towards the crown, it starts to get naturally shorter, just because the way the head is at the highest point through the apex, and the hairline dips forward. So I started here, and we're working through here. Okay, now I've got my guide from the left hand side there. Okay, so cutting to that guide. I'm going to go again. I'm working all the way back to the crown again. I'm just stopping, level with the crown on this side, cutting through. Now again, I'm finishing level with the crown on this particular side of this section here, is because the crown is to the left hand side. So I'm working back to the recession point, so I want to still leave some length in that fringe. I'm going to follow my guide from there and work around. Okay, so I'm not working directly on the round head, I'm not cutting the corner off, because I still want to build that squareness as it sits through when it comes back. We're going to create that head shape working through the sides as well. Okay, and I'm working back again to the crown and stop and level with the crown. We've cut here, and we're almost going to leave a point right smack bang on the round the head, so I'm not going to cut the point through there. So there, I'm going to work now here. So there's going to be a little bit of a nice graduation through to this part here. Now this is going to create my guide for when we come to scissor work. So bringing it back to the recession point, I'm working nice and straight out. Okay, again following the guide from the top and doing very, very small sections now. Okay, because this is the transition into the sides. Now if you leave it too wide on the transition, what you're going to be left with is, again, like very similar to the top, long, short, long, short, long, short, and it'd be hard to find a guide. Now this is going to drop down very, very slightly. I'm here now. So I'm following my guide in the corner here, bring that over, picking it up, following my guide from below and on the side as well. I'm bringing it so you end up being completely level with the crown. Okay, getting nice clean sections, bring it through. And what we're looking to do with the fringe, it's going to stay longer here and graduate up, so it's going to come on that angle like that. Okay, so the fringe like that. What that helps to do, helps to connect in this corner here to the sides, but also leave enough length to still create that nice square shape through the top. I'll pull this down again. I'm going to leave the length on this side. I'm going to cut it shorter to Cole's right hand side. So I'm going to leave that length. So whatever length is falling through here is I want to leave and use that as my guide. Okay, so that's my guide, cutting the fringe in. So you see that little bit of hair there, that's what we're aiming for. Keep it straight to start with, get to the nose, and then start to angle in to the point of that recession. Working to the point, there's my guide, and there's my guide. So I'm connecting that through there. So it gets longer and shorter through there. And what it helps to do is maintain length through that section where the parting is, start to connect in through the sides as well. Okay, so that's cut to my guide now. So I'll pick that up, it's level with my guide. We don't need any texture in this haircut because we're not looking to wear it messy, we're looking to wear it nice and smart. Again, if you are wearing the longer hair and you're liking it and this is the kind of look you want to go for, no texture. Okay, Texture will create shorter elements through the top, which will stop it from sitting flat and sitting over. So if I'd have cut in, if I'd have thinned out the top completely, because the thing is as well, you don't want to take much thickness out of this neither. You want to try and keep it as heavy and thick as possible, because that way it sits flatter and sits in more shape as well. I'm going to start on our scissor over comb on the back and sides. So I'll show you where I found my guide, because a lot of people, I know, I mean, amazing response to our last scissor cut video. I mean, I'm so overwhelmed at how much that took off. I mean, you know, we had some unbelievable press on the back of that as well. But the thing I want to show you is where to find your guide. Now, a lot of people have been talking about a white comb. I don't own a white comb, unfortunately. I never really have. I've always had black combs. But you should be able to see the guide today, okay? What you want to do is just try and make sure that it's the same consistency in terms of it being wet all over the back and sides as possible. I know it will dry off naturally. Again, I am outside, so it does start to dry a bit quicker, so I will probably wet it down a bit more than I would in the shop. I'm going to switch up to a longer scissor now. My guide for this. So this last section we cut when we pulled it vertically out to connect is what we're looking for now. So I'm going to work, remembering where my vertical section was, just drop down from the crown. I'm going to put my scissor in. Now, what you do scissor over comb is you comb the hair down. So you place the spine flat to hold that hair in place and flat against the head. You slide your scissor above the spine of the comb. You pull it out towards you, comb the hair out underneath, and you work it into your comb. Now, as you can see, I've got a guide there. That's what my guide is. That's what I'm looking for, okay? So you see the longer hair that we've left here from the parting. Slide it in, comb it down, pick it up. There is my guide. And I'm just cutting to follow. Okay, so if you watch me, in, comb it down, pull it out, I'm just rest it on the scissors to get it cleaner. And there is my guide. If I pull the hair down, you can see the shorter hair through there. And that is what I'm cutting to. Now, the angle of my comb, the higher up the head, the more the teeth face towards you, okay? If they were flat against the head, you'd be working shorter and you'd be working higher up. And what that would do, that would cut it to that length. Whereas if you angle it slightly, it layers the hair longer into the shorter part at the bottom as well. Okay, so if you watch me, scissors in, lift it up. I've got my guide from there. I've got my guide through the comb. If I pull that down, I've got my guide through the comb and I cut, okay? Again, there's my guide through the comb, cut. You're doing small sections here because we're taking shorter length, okay? Longer sections, you'll lose your guide and you'll also create what we call steps. And basically that's the same as the top where you've got long, short, long, short, long, short. It'll be the same here, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short. We're trying to keep it as level as possible, okay? Now as we get lower down, we're going to gradually go shorter towards the head. Now all we do there is, as we pull the hair out to find the guide at the top, we just start to get closer and closer and closer and closer to the scalp with our comb. Working down, getting a little bit of elevation, but we're starting to lose the elevation now, and getting closer towards the nape, okay? I'm just getting closer and closer to his nape, okay? Work from the bottom and just cross check. So just pulling out the comb and working up. Just make sure that all my sections are even, okay? So long up the top and getting shorter down the nape. And we've only done that purely by moving the comb closer to the head. There's my guide and cut. Following the guide from the right hand side and also the guide through the comb. In and we're out. I'm getting closer and closer to his neck. But as you can see, look how close my sections are together as well. This is what keeps the consistency without losing any steps. Comb in, straight across from the same point. There's my guide. Cut straight across. You can see how much more length is coming off as we get to the bottom because we're going closer. I'm working it from under the round of the head to maintain some length through the corner. I'm starting to angle my comb slightly just to stay away from the ear. I'm working down the hairline to start to taper this hairline in. So it's starting to get shorter and I start to expose the hairline. So I'm going to work across the top. There's my guide from what we cut through our fingers. I'm going to work a bit lower down, keep going, so you get that longer hair coming through. There we go. So we've got a guide from the right hand side, left hand side and behind now. Getting shorter towards the bottom just by bringing my comb closer to the head. Guide from either side. Bring my comb on the side. Gonna work on that. Now that's easier for guys to leave that with the trimmers or the clippers, then I would say that could be a good option as well. Because when it comes to doing the ear, especially if you're a novice, you don't want to be cutting the ear, okay? And that can sometimes happen if you're here, and you go through and you cut it, you can cut the top of the ear, okay? Because obviously everyone's ears are different, so different sizes. You want to be careful with that. Slide in. There's my guide from before, my fingers. Again, still there. And here comes the longer hair. My guide from the left-hand side, as you can see, when you see the hair fall through the comb, that's where you know your guide is, okay? As you can see, there's a lot of hair to the right-hand side of the comb and nothing to the left. That's because of the section we've cut previously, so you know where to start from. Get closer down to the bottom. And just for the purpose of this mannequin, I cut through the side there, because it's quite thick and quite strong on the sideburn. I'll spray some salt spray into the hair, just as a base, because I'm using a hairdryer. Just using the nozzle to shape the direction of the hair. I'm going to dry the hair down as well. Put the brush in the hair, and I'm going to place it flat on the head. I'm going to brush the hair down first, place it flat, and then bring it up against the scalp, against the head. And what that helps to do is create a square shape through there as well. So it'll just emphasise the length that we've got. So just bring it back on itself, and that starts to create a nice shape through there. Wrapping it around, bringing it up, create a nice little bit of shape in there. Pull that forward away from the crown. Do the same thing again. Bring that back a bit as well. Just wrap that around the brush. Working it up and through my brush. I'm going to finish and turn the hairdryer the other way, and I'm going to wrap the hair around my brush. Okay, I'm going to tidy it around the edges now. Start off with my right hand side because I'm right-handed. I'm going to trim down these sideburns and around the neck as well. My combing flat to the sideburn, I'm going to angle it, pushing on this point here to bring it out till I start to get to the length that I want through the top. And that creates a nice graduation into length. And work clipper over comb to get a nice taper into the sideburn as well. Now I'm going to take that hair off here as well on the ear so I can see the hairline and expose it. Now as you can see by tapering in around here, just see how much more the hairline is starting to expose itself now. And I'm going to work up and around the hairline. So working around the ear, and level off that sideburn a bit as well. I'm going to work it around the ear, so we're cutting it into the hairline. Again, not going too high or anything like that at all. Just start to tidy up this hairline now as well. I'm going to work up into the hair. And bring on that angle to create a nice natural taper as well. Right guys, so I'm going to apply again some cream similar to the last one to finish. As what I think, when you're wearing anything a bit longer, it's always nice to have a little bit of a smoother product to finish with. It's a little bit easier to work through, a little bit more pliable. And all you do is work from the front. Now normally I stand and work from the back, but I'm going to start from the front through to the parting and separate that parting with my hands like that. So you're getting that product right on the parting. That'll help keep it in place. And then just make sure you work all the way through the back and sides as well. You want to make sure it's sitting all over here. Now again, as you can see, this is a pretty sort of basic haircut in a sense, as in like you don't have much texture. It's mainly done through shape and just tidying up around the edges and whatnot. But it's such a really effective haircut that if you are looking to keep your hair a bit longer and you want to, you know, obviously tidy it up a little bit after when we get out of lockdown or isolation or whatever, then if you are liking the hair a bit longer, this is another look that you could try out as well. So you don't want that heavy texturized kind of pompadour with it being kind of like loose around the edges and whatnot. This is another good way of keeping a majority of length on the top but having it slightly tidied around the back and sides as well. I'm just going to finish with my brush. And just work through now. Now when you see us kind of working our hand after the brush, what we do there is we're catching the hairs that fall out the brush. That's what we do it for, just to kind of smooth off the hair as well. So it's a good little thing to do if you want to sit a lot smarter. And just work through into that part and just take your time with it. And then just use your fingers just to kind of finish. That is some nice classic side part. Bit more length through the top. And scissor cut all over and just detailed around the ears as well with our mini clippers. In the back, again, just going with that, not making anything too short, still going with that kind of longer element around the bottom, not a heavy like taper or anything to the neck, just something that is still going to keep the hairline there. And we are on that side too. See, he's keeping that lovely nice silhouette through the sides as well, and then straight back to the front.